My name's David Risher, and I'm the president and co-founder of World Reader. Literacy is transformative. It is the way people achieve their dreams, it's the way towards basic education, and it's really the best and only vaccine against ignorance and obsolescence in the world. So we're trying to create a world where every child on the planet has the books they need to improve their lives. We live at an amazing time. On the one hand, there are 250 million children in sub-Saharan Africa alone with no books in their house. On the other hand, technology gets cheaper every day, the world gets more connected every day, and so finally we have the opportunity to create a world where every child on the planet has the books they need to improve their lives. Digital reading is part of the future, and if you look at what's happened in the US, ebooks are now up to 30% of the sales of books, but in the developing world, they're really at zero. It shouldn't be that way. The developing world needs access to the world's books, the world's literature, and to books in their local language and books that are relevant to the local culture. And so that's what we at World Reader are trying to do, is create a world where millions of children have access to books, but digitally, so they can read. We know we can't get kids reading all by ourselves. And so in order to fulfill our commitment to get 5 million children reading, we're working with organizations like Microsoft that helps us build new digital applications for cell phones. That's a distribution strategy and a reading strategy. And we're working with publishers, including Pratham Books of India, who will help us get their content onto millions and millions of cell phones. Together with organizations like Longhorn Publishing out of Kenya, or Penguin Random House here in the United States, these are all publishers that have agreed to collaborate with us to digitize their books and get them on reading platforms, cell phones, throughout the developing world. There are two pieces to the commitment. The first commitment is to get 5 million children reading, and that's in partnership with everyone from publishers to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to UNHCR that works with us in refugee and settlement camps, all through the developing world. The second piece is to grow our content library. Today we have about 6,000 books that are digitally available, in 23 languages, and we hope to get that content library up to 50,000, because we know that the only way to get kids reading is if they're reading about information that's relevant to them. UNESCO wrote a report recently, and one of the lines that stands out for us is when they say, if every person on this planet understood that their cell phone could be their personal library, then access to text would cease to be a hurdle to literacy. And an estimated 6.8 billion people could have access to books. That to us is very exciting, and that's the future we're trying to help create through this Clinton Global Initiative commitment. The only way to really tip the scales, in the same way that cell phones have tipped the scales in the developing world, is to work in partnership with other organizations. If we want to get millions of people reading, it has to be done in partnership. So we invite other like-minded organizations, for-profit companies, potential funders, cell phone carriers, equipment manufacturers, publishers, to come join with us to get 5 million children reading throughout the developing world in the next 3 years.